I just want to talk about some changes that I want to make regarding the things I'm going to be talking about and sort of the angle I'm going to be talking about as well. I don't want to edit this video too much. I just want to be completely natural and just talk freely and just sort of explain the reason why I want to do this and how it's going to help as well in understanding sort of having mental clarity, just having a better overall mental health, and also getting into spirituality, philosophical concepts, and things on a deeper level. And the reason I want to do this is because I feel like I've been holding back a little bit in the way that I've been speaking, just because I wanted to appeal to more people. And I do find that understanding things on a deeper level, taking everything into consideration, helps tremendously in understanding the mind and just helping to clear those things that are stopping us from living the life that we want. In my life personally, I apply all these principles. I apply spiritual principles, I apply philosophical principles, I apply so many different things that I don't regularly talk about because I've always felt that people never really cared. But the more I help people and the more I've been on YouTube and just speaking to people in general, I've noticed that people want more of that. And so I'm able to give that. And so I should do that. So with that being said, I do want to delve into more of manifestation, spiritual principles, philosophical principles, in order to explain how to have a clear mind and how this relates to creating the life that you want. Mentality is everything when it comes to every single avenue in life. So if you're trying to just be a better person, if you want to get out of a certain situation, then your mindset matters in everything. Because the way that you see life is pretty much what's in your head subconsciously. And so the way that you interact with everyone around you depends on what you have in your own head. So everybody sees life differently. And when I was a missionary, I saw this. When I was a missionary for the church, I wondered why people had lots of anxiety, lots of depression if they had quote unquote God in their heart. But what I found out was it's not a matter of having God in your heart per se. It's a matter of what you think about him or it in general. It's not about him just being with you, because you can know that logically, but there's another aspect that you must know, and that is something beyond just logically knowing. It's a knowing that just dwells inside of you, that you know, and there's no little bit of doubt in you. So as I wanted to delve deeper into these things of belief and things of the mind, it's led me into this whole pathway of trying to understand things on a deeper level. And so that's what I wish to share with everyone now. So when it comes to your mindset and manifestation and spirituality, it's all saying the same thing. And it's saying to remove all of the mental clutter that you have in your head that's not serving you. Because many times we have so much stuff in our heads that don't serve us in any kind of way. And this goes into past trauma. This goes into what we're told by the news, media, people, our family. All these things people say to us get into our head, and then this kind of makes us into a certain type of person because it affects the way that we think and the way that we interact with everything. So if we're always constantly being influenced, if people from the outside, if media is always trying to manipulate us, trying to put fear in our heart, then we're going to think a certain way. This always applies into sort of how we create unwanted situations for ourselves. Because if we were not under fear, if we didn't have people constantly telling us what we should do and what we shouldn't do, we would do the things that we would like. But many times we think that what we want is what other people want. So there's a whole big aspect here with what do I really want versus what has been put in my head. And sometimes it's very difficult to tell what someone else has put in your head versus what you actually want. So having a mindset where you can manifest, create, simply means to remove all of the clutter. And when you can do this, then it becomes a lot easier for you to do things. I was one of those people as well, where I used to work a lot. I used to work 2 jobs. I used to put so much effort into things, and I would always wonder why I never had anything to show for it. And I know a lot of people are like that. So when this happens, you look for other things, you look for other answers, whether that's spirituality, whatever it may be, Christianity. You end up being at a loss where you're just wondering, don't they say hard work? If you work hard, you'll get whatever you want. Hard work, hard work, hard work. And there's this whole hustle culture where you have to wake up at 4 a.m. and do all of this work. And to some extent, that may be true. But what I found was, if you believe in your hard work, that's what makes it work. Hard work in of itself doesn't really accomplish anything. So there's many different things that go into success, that go into being the person you would like to be, having the life that you would want to be, clearing your mind out. Because a lot of people work very hard, but some people have nothing to show for it. And rather than work extremely hard for nothing, I would want everybody to be able to work just the right amount, to have that good work-life balance and have the life that they would want for themselves. And so that's where it gets into the metaphysical realm, where it gets into the spiritual realm, the philosophical ideas, and all of these things. There are lots of other things that get in the way of what we would like for ourselves. And again, this goes into what we've learned growing up. This goes into the beliefs that stop us from accomplishing the things that we would like to do. So there's a lot to consider there as well. I find that trying to be very factual all the time or very logical helps a lot of people understand the mind and helps people understand how to clear their mind and live a better life. There is a lot more to be said about the mind and a lot more to be said about life in general. For me to be talking about the simple things, it's time to take it to a deeper level and get to a deeper understanding of how to apply all of these principles. Now, I'll mostly be talking about the same things. I'll be talking about how your past affects everything about how you think, but I'm going to be adding on different elements as well. Elements where I'm going to be taking inspiration from the Bible. I'm going to be taking inspiration from many different things. And this will help not only understand things logically, but help you understand things emotionally, abstractly, using a different part of the brain. And this will give you a more holistic understanding of how everything works. And this has been very helpful in the people that I've been speaking to and helping. And so I just want to share that with everyone else as well. So I don't want to be holding back anymore. I just want to let it go without any filter. And I just wanted to explain that to everybody. Having a manifestation mindset, having a mindset where you can create the life that you want without working so hard, without having to do all of these things and beating yourself up. A lot of people beat themselves up, and there are a lot of people on YouTube and a lot of coaches that get on this mentality where you have to work very, very, very hard or beat yourself up to the point where you can't even work anymore. But rather than do that, I propose an easier option where instead of killing yourself, you would just work with yourself and accomplish things easily. Because many times we're told growing up, and this is one of those beliefs, you have to work hard in order to gain success. And if something is too good to be true, then it probably is. But what if it wasn't? What if we didn't have that belief? What if we could have all the things we want, This is part of that. And we have to watch our beliefs because our beliefs make up our world, our ideas, and the way that we act. So the beliefs themselves are actually in the way of what we want, whether that's for good or for bad. And I've explained this in the past using the garden allegory, the garden metaphor, but I'm going to go even deeper with all of these principles from now on, just so you can get a even greater understanding of what all of these mean, what these have meant, all of these symbols. And I'm going to get into a lot of analysis into paintings, into a lot of analysis into stories as well, and what this has to do with you, because ultimately everything has to do with you or us or me on a very individual level. Everything has to do with individuals, and then individuals come together to make a collective. So rather than take ourselves out of the equation, just recognize that we're all important. And when we can realize this and realize that all these stories are telling us about ourselves, then it turns into a beautiful story, not just something that has nothing to do with us. Everything has to do with you as an individual. And you can create the life that you want, just recognizing this. A lot of the ideas I'm going to be sharing as well are going to be a little different. So if it's something that makes you very uncomfortable, I promise that it's going to be a different perspective, and it's not going to be a bad thing. It's just not about changing anyone's beliefs or changing anyone's ideas. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to listen to anyone. It's not my intention to manipulate you or to put things in your head. All I want is for everyone to be their own individual and to express themselves to their fullest potential. And I think that is what we are meant to do here. But many times we're afraid. Many times we don't feel like that gets us anywhere, and we feel like it is just a fruitless endeavor. And rather than thinking that, I want us all to get to the point where we can share, we can express ourselves, and you can get to a point where you can be comfortable with your life. You can be completely satisfied, have a life full of fulfillment and full of purpose. In the Bible, it's interesting too, because as I mentioned, I was a missionary. I don't hold many of the same beliefs as I did before. I would say I'm much more spiritual now. I do not hold any of the mainstream Christian doctrines, but everything that the Bible says is very true on a very allegorical, metaphorical level. And in the Bible, it's generally understood that the rich have a hard time entering heaven. You can interpret this differently, and you can just say, the rich just represents all of those ideas that we have within ourselves that we hold on to. It's kind of like how we hold on to material things and we don't want to let them go because we are afraid. So all of the thoughts that we have in our heads from the past can be considered as material things that we hold on to, which makes us rich. We are rich in thoughts, rich in beliefs, whether they serve us or not. We are considered somewhat like hoarders, where we just hoard on to past ideas, past beliefs. And if you've ever seen the show Hoarders on TV, you can see somebody's house full of things where they just don't need it. And then at that point, it just turns into garbage. And that's us. We are rich, full of things that we don't need. So we need to clean out the house in order to make space for the things that we would actually want in our life. To be rich, it's harder to enter heaven. And heaven just simply means the thing that you would want for yourself, to have heaven on earth, to be that person you want to be now. And that is all. It's time for us to let go of all the past things and be quote unquote poor, having no thoughts and no beliefs that hinder us any longer. It's time for us to let go and to make way for the future life that we want and have a good present moment where we're creating a future that we would like for ourselves. And that's what I wish to share with everybody. So I want to help people just let go of all the mental clutter. Let go of all those things that get in the way from you achieving all of the things that you would like in your life. Whether you want to perform better at work, whether you want to have a better relationship, whatever it may be. So I promise to explain all these principles in detail, and I'll promise to hopefully make it make sense to you on a different perspective, on a different level where you can actually feel these principles and apply them to yourself. And hopefully these will help you just like they've helped me in my life.